Coming up.
Well, it's bottom of the ninth, the score is tied, it's time for the big one.
I don't like that, the wheels. I like the wheels, I don't like how much they stick out. Pretty much describes the whole car. And so is this. Bolt and some plates has been joined. That is holding the seat in. Oh, the streets. It's all hanging down over the pedals. So here it is, the heart of the beast. I think it's got a Wuhan war whistle, a massive oil leak. I can see already that these studs aren't straight, they're almost kinking out to the outer ends. Measure once, drill twice scenario there. Right, wheels are on. Continue on drag racing frame on this car. Right, peoples of YouTubes, I've bought another project, as you do. Do you recognise it? You should do. It's one of the most famous metros on YouTube. So today is just going to be a waffle day. I'll take you around the car and we'll just see what is going on with it. See what we've got for our money, shall we say. So I'll give you a little bit of a background story. I've built a Metro VVC, same colour as this, but a 4-door 6 or 7 years ago now. I'll probably stick a picture of what it is. If I can find any pictures, that is. And then I sold that after I'd done the conversion, on which I never did. So I then bought another Metro 2-door, non-sunroof. I think that was a Kensington SE. Again, same colour. Got a thing with this colour, like Firehead. And I bought that for a couple of £100 as a joke to my daughter to say, this is your first car. So yeah, that was pretty mean practical joke, but anyway, she's got a car now, and that was redundant, and I was gonna do a VVC conversion on that, but that turned out to be a little bit worse for wear. So I swiftly moved that on. And since then, I've been looking for either VVC swapped Metro has already been done, that's quite clean and tidy, or turbo Metro. I'd quite like to venture into these K-Series turbos a little bit more. And literally, this came up at the right time, and we pushed the send button, and we went up and picked it up, and yeah, here we are. When did I pick this up? I picked this up beginning of January, so I probably had it. Was it beginning of January or was it December? I can't remember. But anyway, I've been sitting on this thing for about a month now. I've taken it down the road a couple of times, but I'm still waiting for the logbook for it. When I bought it, that didn't come with a logbook. I had to apply for it. So we're going for that task of applying for a logbook and waiting for it to turn up. And I still haven't got it yet. So I've literally left it as long as I possibly could. So I've been sat in my driveway, so I thought I'll bring it to the workshop and then we'll start doing a couple of little things to it, because this is by all means not perfect. So I will start by taking you round it and showing you the good bits, the bad bits, and the bits I like and the bits I don't like. And it's going to be one of them videos. So yeah, if you want to stick around, stick around. If not, we'll see you in the next one. Right, I think we'll start with the outside. Yeah, it's a Rover 100. You might be fooled because it's got a Mark III conversion, so bumper, headlights, bonnet. I think it's got a Mark III rear bumper as well, but it's still got the 100 rear lights, which I like because I like a slightly smoked job. But yeah, if you don't know this Metro, it was owned by a guy called Chris House. He's got a YouTube channel of House of Mods. Now, for my Ford followers, he's now doing a Z-Tech converted 100E, I think it is. So it's a classic Ford. He's sticking a Z-Tech in it. Again, a bit of a project. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, go and give him a like and a follow. But yeah, back to this. We'll go around the other side. There's a little bit more light on this side. But yeah, so it's a 100 Mark III conversion. First thing you notice, it's got a great big hole in the bumper with a charge cooler in it. I don't like that. One thing I don't like, I have bought another bumper. So the plan is that we're going to get rid of that charge cooler. That one's just a really thick single pass. So I've got a slightly thinner, but it's a dual pass. So that will go in the top and then comes down the bottom and then out the bottom. And hopefully we'll be able to tuck that behind the bumper. So yeah, we ain't got this big gaping hole in it. Good for cooling. But I just don't like how that sticks out. Definitely noticeable because everyone looks at it, but just not my cup of tea, unfortunately. The bonnet, again, Mark III. Loads of rock chips on it. And it's been painted satin black. So again, the plan is to get all that sorted and get that into body colour. The private plate came with it, which is good. And we've got a little bit of damage here on this A-pillar. Again, I think I'm going to have to cut that out and find a bit and weld that in properly. So it's going to be a screen out job and do that properly. But we'll do all that when we get on to doing the bodywork. Excuse me. The other things I like and don't like is the wheels. I like the wheels. I don't like how much they stick out. Now, I believe they are mini wheels and they're mini fitment. So hence the reason why they stick out so far. But I don't know what he's done. So I don't think they're 4x 95.25. I think they're the mini fitment. What are they? What, 4x 101 or something like that? I can't really remember. But I don't think they are the correct fitment. And I believe he said that he's managed to get them on, but I don't know what that stage is that he managed to get them on. So I don't know what's under there. So I guess we'll have a little delve into that today and just see what it's all about. The next thing is I don't like is plastic arches. They are horrible and they don't even fit properly. But I know why he's done it. He's done it to, you know, so it's the wheel is covered for MOT standards and all that sort of jazz. But they will be coming off and I have got some new wheels for these. So we can, again, we'll take, when we get up in the air, we'll take the wheels off, see what's behind it, and we'll see if the new wheels fit or not, because they are a true 4x 95.25. Yeah, so that's that. Keep around to the front, this sunstrip, I don't mind it, but you can't see fuck all out the window. Literally, my eye line is here, and I'm just over 6 foot tall, and the guy who owned it before me, he's even taller than me, so I don't know how he saw out of it. So that's going to be another thing that we're going to take off. Again, no offense to House of Mods, it just gets in the way of the eye line, and unless you're really crouching down in the seat, you can't see in front of you. So yeah, that's going to be another thing that we're going to get rid of today. All the roof is good. Again, a non-sunroof model. So again, that's nice and ideal. So same wheel at the back. Again with plastic arches, these are all broken off a lot. So again, we're going to see if we can get rid of them today, and see if we can tidy it up. I know these are bolted in. Well, I think they're bolted in. They could be screwed in, I don't know. But we are going to be left with holes. I'd rather the holes than a broken arch flapping about. So that is that. Around the back, we got a Metro rear bumper. So it is a Metro, not a 100. We have got the 100 rear lights though, which I like. I like them. Rear spoiler, GTI or GTA spoiler. Yeah, like that. Again, missing the caps. I believe we can get these. I think, what's the company called? Retro Reproductions or something. I think they do the caps for these now. Again, I bought some stuff off them for the Escort as well. So yeah, I believe they do the GTI body kit, which is something that I'm probably going to go down the road with, which is the side skirts and the front bib on the bumper. So we'll probably get into that as well when we do the bodywork. Now, I'm not going to send this out to a paint shop because this is going to be a budget build, in the sense of that I'm going to do all the work myself. I don't claim to be a bodywork guy. I hate bodywork, and to be honest with you, I'm no bloody good at it. But we'll practice, and yeah, hopefully that'll come out to be a half decent car. I think that pretty much describes the whole car, with zip ties, but we'll show you around that later. We've got rear boot damage, big old dent in there. Now I have contacted a dent removal company. They said they won't be able to do it. That's best off for bodywork or for a paint shop to do a small repair on that. So again, we'll either try and get a boot lid in colour. We have got a little bit of damage up here as well. Get a decent boot lid in colour, or we'll repair it and paint it at the same time and all the other stuff. And again, it's just down this side here. We've got a nice little side X exhaust, which is very loud. I approve very much. I like a loud exhaust. But yeah, that's much the same on this one. Right, while we're at the back here, we'll open the boot and have a look. And we have got all this mass and stuff, which has been glued to the actual bodywork itself with like contact adhesive, so I don't like that, so we'll get rid of that. And we've got just loads of shit really. Got some LED lights underneath here. It's all fallen off. This is the boot light, which has been, yeah, that's not good if it touches the metal, is it? But there we go. So yeah, we've got a harness bar here that's been welded to the wheel tubs. Yeah, some of them welds are okay, some of them I won't rely on. I definitely won't rely on it, especially here, to attach my harnesses to. That's not the correct way to mount a harness. That's very dangerous. And so is this. Bolt and some plates. So if you have an accident, this bolt is literally going to tear all the way up and split the belt in half, which is no good whatsoever. So that's very dangerous. That's one of the things that we're going to have to address, as well as this cage. I think it's just a kit that you get off eBay and you just blob it together basically. And yeah, has definitely been done in all these welds around these plates. I mean, these plates aren't really designed for the safety. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on this cage in an accident, let's put it this way, especially when it's been joined halfway down a tube. That's not safe. Right, so we move on. We've got a battery mounted in the rear. Yeah, that's nice and secure. Again, the wiring is a little bit, I think that single wire that comes off the fuse in it is for the fuel pump. So we might drag that back to the dash and put that on a switch. You know, one of them start button switches with the fuel pump thing and all that sort of jazz on it. So that's the back. Just dump this mat back in there. And we'll move on to the front. Right, we've got some door cards here. Very tatty, but we'll rip these off. I think we're going to go for some track car style door cards, so ABS plastic, with the winder and the handle and the pull attached to it, and just make it more of a motorsport themed car because it's already stripped out, so we won't bother with any creature comforts. Right, it's got a pair of seats on it, Kuburu, sort of a classic seat. They're looking very tatty indeed, lots of rips and tears and stains on them, and they're not very comfortable. Well, I don't find them comfortable because, again, I'm a big lad and my hips dig into the side of here. And some safety devices, harnesses. Well, this one's a safety device. I don't know what the other one is. I think it's just a cheap old seatbelt one from eBay or whatever. And these have been mounted to a very crude bit of box section and some plates and some bolts. So I'll just show you the state of these welds. That is holding the seat in. Yeah, so again, if he's in an accident, that is not going to hold. That is going to rip off them welds and you are going through that windscreen. So that's the seats. We've got some gold foil tapey stuff on the floor. I don't know why that's there. Maybe to hide something up, but that's just going to be ripped off. We'll get rid of that. Don't need that where we're going. And again, we've got some more of this foam matting glued to the floor. Right, I'm going to get around the other side and I'll show you a little bit more. Right, round the other side now. Again, another door card that's all peeling off. Got loads of wire and Jubilee clips. Let's see these. Oh, the streets. Like the streets, like that. That's good. We'll see if that works. What's that? Maguire's. Look like a clay bar box. Is there any clay in it? And if so, is it any good? That might be a little find. I need 2 hands to get this open. But yeah, it's full of what looks like Maguire's clay. I got one of these kits at home, but I never got that much in my box. So maybe there's 2 kits in there. So we'll keep hold of that. That's lovely jubbly. Get rid of them. Again, I don't know what these harnesses are, but I have got I can't remember if it's TRS or Safety Device one in the Escort, which is a good belt, but it's just out of date. I've got a new one to replace in the Escort, so we might take the one out of the Escort and stick it in here. And also I have bought a seat mounting kit to go to weld into here. That's going to drop the seat down a little bit, and obviously we'll get I think the Escort seat I fit in there okay, so I might put the Escort seat in the driver's side. Again, that's out of date. I don't need it to be in date, but I'm going to get the same one as that I've got in the F. So that's an Evo L, and stick it in there, just so I'm comfortable while racing, really, because that is a Sparco Evo seat. It's an older generation one. Sparco, not Sparco. Let me go and have a look. Yeah, it's a Sparco Evo, but it's one of the older generation ones, but it's in really good condition. So we'll use that and we'll stick that in here and go from there, really. Yeah. So we've got some gauges on here. They don't do anything. The needles fell off that. That don't work. That don't work. We have got an LD performance boost controller with lots of wires everywhere. Yeah, so that's that. No glove box, but a space full of wires that are just hanging down again. We've got this lovely battery cable here, which I don't think that's the right gauge. It seems to start and charge the vehicle okay, but I don't think that's the right gauge. So I think we're gonna, this battery tray here just looks like that's bolted to the floor. So we might rip it out again, put a different battery tray in there, and redo all this wiring just so it's a little bit safer. Get some covers on the terminals, just so nothing goes on the top of it. Right, this cage here, I'm not happy with this cage, so we're gonna rip that out, and I'm going to send it to someone to have a proper half cage put in with a harness bar, just so it's safe. So, I mean, this is just a tin bean can, so if we roll it, I'm going to bloody know about it. The hoping is that we're not going to roll it, but you can never say never, shall we say. So we'll look around here again on this other side. We've got a steering wheel here. It says it's a Momo one, but I think it's a fake. Purely because this line here don't line up with the centre of the steering wheel. That's off to the left a bit. And these holes, they don't look like Momo holes to me. And we've got a bolt missing. So we'll have a look at replacing the steering wheel. And it's got a button on the dash for this rev limiter. Well, it's the rev limiter / launch control. That's meant to be the launch control button. But I've tried to hook it up. That was unhooked, so I tried to hook it up and I had no joys, and the car just don't start when it's hooked up. So I think that's buggered that boxes, just constantly giving an earth to the coil packs when it should only earth out when it gets to a set limit, if that makes any sense. Got an AFR gauge here, that works. All the AFR look okay. We'll just probably, again, it's just stuck on with some glue. We'll probably make that somewhere more nicer, shall we say. And I have actually got, because we've got loads of holes in the dash here, loads of holes in the dash here, I've actually found someone that's breaking a GTI, and I've got the dash out of that. I've just got to go and pick it up. So we're going to do a full dash swap in here, just so it's a bit nicer. Yeah, I just don't like messy looking dashes, to be honest with you. And then we come here and we've got just wires and shit. Let's get a light in there. Everywhere. It's all hanging down over the pedals. It's all cable tied up in the dash here. All this here. And everywhere is just all hanging down. So when we do the dash, we're going to strip out all the wires we don't need. And I'm going to tidy it all up. Right. That is it for the inside. So I'm going to take you under the bonnet now and show you what this vehicle is all about. So here it is, the heart of the beast. Rover K-Series turbo engine, I believe from a ZT, could be from a 75, not entirely sure. Recently been rebuilt by the previous owner. Can't remember exactly what he done. I know he put a video on YouTube about it. I believe the rings got all gapped and all that sort of stuff, but I can't exactly remember what went wrong with it, but I think it went down a hole at the drag strip. So yeah, a standard Rover K-Series engine, just with some gapped rings, and I think it's got a Wuhan war whistle bolted to the manifold. I can't exactly see what type it is, so I think it's a slightly bigger version of the standard, but hopefully we can find something on it to identify it. Screamer pipe, all this gold heat reflector. I think we'll have to do something with this upper coolant hose. It's barely, I can't even get a finger in between that and the manifold. So we might get some Funk Motorsport heat protectant, and we might get that ceramic coated, just for a bit of heat management, really. Yeah, all the water is absolutely perfect. The oil's absolutely perfect. No running issues whatsoever. Just noticed that the engine mounted has come out and is rubbing up against the other bit there. I think we'll need to get a new engine mount. I don't like these polyurethane engine mounts because they do chew up quite well if they're not perfectly square. So we might replace that just with a standard rubber one, or see what else is on the market to begin with. So we've got the charge cooler set up. The pump is down there. We're going to leave this charge cooler. Again, I've got a twin pass heat exchanger. The pump seems to be okay. I have got a separate header tank that we can put over here somewhere to tidy all this up. And yeah, I think it's going to be one of the first jobs I do, is to sort this charge cooler set up. Again, I've got all the parts of that ready to go, so that's going to be one of the first videos to be put out, as well as sorting that seat out. Safety really is what should be first. We've got all this wire in here. It's just a big mess. And it's all wrapped around the what is that? The fuel regulator, sorry. So we need to sort all that out, and that's not exactly tight, so that's just asking for trouble. We'll get all that out. This did have a nice cover over the top of it, but I took all that out to try and put the Omex rev limiter in. I did try and go straight into the ECU, but you connect it all up and you go to start it and it just won't spark. So I tried to bring it further down here, again won't start. So I think the rev limiter is knackered. I tried to do everything that the instructions tell you to do, but I just don't want to start. So yeah, that is that. Might even put the ECU inside near the glove box area. I might get rid of the heater system as well. Again, I'll explain my plans later on in the video of what I've got planned for this car. But yeah, that is the engine bay. I think it's got an MGF or a TF gearbox in it with, so a PG1 gearbox, and he said it's got a torsion type A diff, which isn't as good as type B diff. But again, I don't know if that's true or not, without taking the shafts out and looking. But yeah, that is just a general overview of the engine bay. MEMS 3 ECU has been converted to, and it was last dynoed, he said, at 177 horsepower. So I'll tell you what, it goes like it's got 277 horsepower. So I don't disbelieve him there whatsoever. But I think what we'll do is, before we start anything, I think I'm going to take it to a dyno and then just see what everything is, just so I've got a base, a good start base of what this thing actually is, what it's putting out, what all the AFRs are in true form. Because I don't know if that gauge is accurate or not. I won't like to rely on it too much. So we'll take it to dyno and get that all done properly. Another thing I've just noticed is that the cam belt cover is broken. Look, see the cam belt there? So we need to sort that cam belt cover out. That's all loose as well. Sort that out before something bad goes in there and blows the engine up. I have got a spare VVC head, so we could convert this to VVC as well if we needed to. It's only 143 VVC, but I'll give it a little bit more flow, and that'll give us the VVC actuation as well. And combine that with a Piper 270 exhaust cam, I think we'll be on the money to nearly 300 horsepower, you know. But anyway, that is the engine bay. Just need tidying up. I have got a Lotus, a full Lotus MEMS 3 engine cover at home, so we're going to whack that on as well while we're tidying things up. Yeah, so right, we're going to shut the bonnet down, and we're going to get it up in the air and look underneath. All right, got it up in the air. We're only on the little mid-lift ramp at the minute, so I'm going to have to crawl down underneath it, but that'll give us some sort of indication underneath the car what it is. First of all, reverse sensor wires all hanging down, that's lovely, and we have a massive oil leak. There we go. Loads of oil. This is going to be something that needs to be sorted out. Okay. Have a return drain, look like it's leaking out of there. Now, I hate people that wrap these exhausts in heat wrap because you can never tell what the welds are underneath. So again, that's going to be something that needs to be addressed. What we've got here, we have got a very skinny radiator with some bits of bar to hold it in place. That's lovely. We'll sort that out properly as well. Look like it's got a spall type fan. It's a Mishimoto fan, but the wires that come out of that fan don't look too pretty, so we'll have to do something with that. Can't really see anything on the turbo side of things. Just spin around. There we go. Just says turbocharger on it and a model, but I can't really read the model. I think it's a max speed on rods one anyway. So yeah, we'll have a little look into that later on. Oh, I've got a lovely engine mount that seems to be just hanging in the wind instead of taking it off. And we've got some lovely welding on the shift linkages. So we might need to look at getting that done as well. I can't see any tags on the gearbox, so it's got a torsion diff in it. So yeah, look like it's got a TF front subframe, which is nice, and the rear's all been cut out. The bolt for that nut with the blue nylock for the steering rack doesn't look like it's gone all the way through. Right, so it's got solid mounts, engine mounts, not engine mounts, subframe mounts. It all looks in nice condition. As I say, it's a generally a nice working example. It just needs some tidying up, really. Like in there, look. We'll need to address some of that. Might be worth taking the whole subframe out and just getting it powder coated. Just make a nice job of it, if that makes sense. We've got a bit of an exhaust with a truck style flexi and a clamp that's not even doing anything. Twin box, and that goes out to the side. Everything where you'd expect it to rust isn't rusting. Let's see if we can get some light over here. Might just see a little bit there, but that's just nitpicking, really. Everything seems alright. Still got the hydro gas lines in it, so I might take them out as well. Brake lines and fuel pipes all look right there. Right, so what I'll do is I'll get out from under here and then we'll have a look under the rear underneath. Right, under the car, have a little bit more better look at the exhaust system. Yeah, that's them welds were a little bit to be desired for, I guess. But there we go. At the end of the day, this was home built in someone's driveway, probably with a gasless MIG welder. So got to respect him for that he's had a go. but not ideal. So we might have a look at making a well, I don't think I'll fucking make it because I'm not good at welding either. I'm okay with the MIG, but to get a decent exhaust system, I think I'm going to take it somewhere to be done properly. And we'll probably not take out the side, we'll probably take it out the back again. But all the subframe looks in good condition. And mounts look okay. Handbrake cable look a bit rusty, but that works absolutely fine. Again, this side, got some from caught around here. All that is bits of rubber or belt by the looks of it. Again, that all looks absolutely fine there. We'll just check the inner sills. If we can see in there, it is. Again, that all looks nice. So we'll get this vehicle to a point where it's happy. It runs okay. We'll just do a few little more bits to it. And once we're happy with how it runs, then I might take it all back down, take the subframes off, take the engine out, and then just give underneath here a good old clean, and we might give it a paint as well, just to make it look nice more than anything. Everything's a little bit dirty, as you'd expect from a car this age. I think it's a 97. So what's that, 25 years old now? All this panel here, this closing panel, absolutely fine, no rust whatsoever. Well, say no rust whatsoever, little tiny bit of surface rust that can be cleaned off and treated, absolutely fine. But it's had some new shoes in because it looks like it's had a spring kit in it. Very nice. And plenty of tread on the tyres. So yeah, that's it for underneath here. I think what we'll do is we'll get the wheels off and see if we can get these new wheels on, and make a start on that. Right, I can see already that these studs aren't straight, they're almost kinking out to the outer ends. We hope we've had a battery. Can't even get my socket in there. Right, yeah, as expected, the wheel studs have been bent outwards. So he's put the wheel on and uses conical shaped wheel nuts, and that's actually bent the wheel studs to suit the PCD. So I don't think we'll be doing anything to that today. yeah, I might just take that off and pull the drum off, see what's happening. But I'll get the rest of the wheels off and see where we go from there. Right, so I've come up with a plan. I've just screwed these nuts on. I'm just going to give it a couple of whacks to get it straight. And we'll do that all the way around, and hopefully up enough just to straighten it up. Now, I know that is going to weaken them studs, so don't panic. I am going to buy a full set of studs to fit in this car. And also, I'm going to buy some PCD adapters for the front. Again, I'm going to explain that at the end of the video with the plans for the car. And I just broke off. Just get a screwdriver. I think there's a nut behind here. Right, so that's with the arch off. Got a little bit of crusty in here. I think what I'll do is just get a rag and just clean that, and we'll get a bit better inspection. Right, as you can see, we've got a lot of poo in there. That's been painted. A little bit of rust there. This arch has been hammered back. And then obviously it's been hammered back as well. That looks been treated with some rust conveyor at some point. So yeah, I think that was one of the reasons why the overarches were put on, to try and hide some of that a little bit. Right, let's get the rest off and see what we're left with. Right, we've got all the spats off. See the state of these wings, not too bad. Obviously all the inners have been hammered in to try and fold it, I guess for clearance of the tyres. Yeah, got some holes. Got measure once, drill twice scenario there. But yeah, we should be able to tidy up all these edges and weld these holes here. And then we've got a little bit of corrosion here, but we should be able to knock that back, treat it, fill it, and that wing will be good. That's pretty much the same story on the rest of it, to be honest with you. So yeah, a little bit of cracked paint there. I think the tyres caught it. This did have the inner arch in it, so I had to take that out. But yeah, and then this rear arch is a little bit better than the other one. I've got a little bit of corrosion here and just down here, a little bit here, just surface corrosion, but we might be able to treat that and clean it up. Yeah, so that's all the arches off. So we're now going to go on to fitting the wheels. Now the wheels of choice I've gone for these, which are John Brown wheels. Trying to think of the fitment now. They're the correct wheel PCD, so it's 4x95.25, 13-inch wheel, and I think they're 6-inch wide. I've got square all the way around. And I've gone for the Nankang AS one, so asymmetrical one tyres in a 175 50/13s. So yeah, we're gonna stick the wheels on now, tighten them all down, and then we'll drop it down the floor and see what it looks like. There we go, all on. So I'm just going to tie the side of the ramp up, and then we'll lower it down and see what it looks like. Right, wheels are on. Got a bit of an arch gap to sort out, but I think they'll fill the arches quite nicely, especially that rear one. Might need a little spacer for the rear, but I've got loads of spacers. So yeah, no, I like these wheels. Just need to sort out the arch gap, obviously. Right, let's get on and getting that sun strip off. Hopefully that'll come off okay. Right, there we go. So that's the sun strip all off. Should be able to see where I'm going now. Yeah, as I say, just cut your vision out quite drastically. It isn't so bad going down a straight road, but when you start going down a hill, you can't see what's then coming up, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So yeah, that's off. That's a lot better. Again, when I do the seats, I'll be dropping the seats down a little bit more, and we'll probably put another sun strip on, not one that's so aggressively down here, but maybe something a bit higher up, just to add a little bit of race carness to it, because I do like a sunstrip. I've got one on pretty much all my cars now, and there's no real reason to. I just like the way they look. So that is it. Right, future plans for this car. Now, the previous owner used to do a little bit of drag racing in that, and I think his best time was either 12.8 or 12.5. I can't remember what he said now, but it's in the mid to high 12s. Now, the idea is to continue on the drag racing journey with this car. Hence the reason why I'm going to keep these wheels here, because they've got a sticky tyre on them. They're slightly wider. So I'm going to see if I can try and get some PCD adapters to adapt them from the Metro PCD to the Mini PCD, so they fit properly without bending the studs. So yeah, again, I think the first thing I'm going to do is get it on a dyno and get a baseline to where it's at. The previous owner said it had 277 horsepower by the previous dyno that he used, but just for my peace of mind, I just want to clarify that and go from there. And then the next step is going to be to do the safety aspects of the car, so the cage and the seat, just so I can start driving about. I have got the bits for the charge cooler, so we can do that. We'll do the door cards, and I've got a dash to put in it as well. So they're all plans for this car in the upcoming episodes. So yeah, that is what we're going to be doing. Continue on the drag racing theme on this car, and it's just a different part of motorsport that I want to get into. Not professionally, or do it against people. We'll just be like run what you brung type things down Santa Pod. But I had a couple of goes, well, probably 18 years ago now. I had a few attempts at it, and I quite enjoyed it, but I never really got into it where I was going down there 3 or 4 times a month. Well, not a month, a year. So a couple of times, a few months over the summer period is what I was trying to get at. So I'm going to get to that stage, and then hopefully every time we go there, we would have done something to the car, and the times will get better and better and better. And the aim is to get this car in the 10s. So 10.9 and lower, or 10.99 and lower, is the goal for this year. So do a little bit of engine work, hopefully bring the power to about 300 horsepower, take a little bit more weight out of it, sort the suspension set up, and yeah, and obviously we'll have our drag tyres here, which are 9KAL1s. They've got a fair bit of meat on them still, so they're just a little bit more stickier and a little bit more wider. I don't know how wide these are. 195s, 185s to 185/60s. So a little bit wider, but the main thing is they are a bit stickier. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't know when the next episode is going to be on this car. Hopefully I can get another one done in the next couple of weeks. As I say, I'm doing the Mondeo at the minute, so I'm sort of mid through the episode of that, and I thought I'd just introduce it, because my goal is to get a video out every week, and I wasn't quite there with that one yet. So I thought we'll bring the car into the workshop, and do a little video on this. That wouldn't take me too long, but yeah, I mean, I've been on it 4 hours, so it's taken me 4 hours to do this video, which should have been 4 hours sorting that out, but I wanted to get a video out for you guys for the weekend, and then hopefully next weekend would be the Mondeo. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will keep on plugging away at this car and see where it ends up in the year, really. So yeah, we will see you in the next episode.